shiny crack of myself belief. I can teach every single lesson I'd like to learn. Practice what you preach isn't predicated on taking turn. Flipped over, just slipped over the hourglass. Soul's my soul, looking like a temple crowd. I see the lights still before me and lower mouth. Knowing now that the sound back, throw the towel out. Keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving. I'll set up in a lot of days and got to keep on moving, got to keep on moving, got to keep on moving. I'll set up in a lot of days. Oh, I hang my head, said I hang my head, yeah, said I hang my head, hang my head. Minneapolis, oh, hang my head, said I hang my head, oh, said I hang my head, hang my head. But I keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving. I'll set up in a lot of days and I keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving. I'll set up in a lot of days. Thank you.
89.3 The Current. I'm Mary Lucia, and you are watching a virtual session with our special guest, Dylan Cartlidge. And Dylan, I'm so happy to meet you because I know you don't know me, but I would never say this if I didn't mean it. The second we started playing Anything Could Happen on The Current, I declared it the summer jam of 21.
Thank you so much, Mary. Genuinely, it means so much for me to hear you say that. And it really has felt like, throughout this whole pandemic, anything hopefully can happen from here on. And I can't thank you enough for the support and for having me.
Well, it's really true because anything could happen doesn't necessarily mean all positive, amazing things, but there's something so hopeful about this song, and not to mention that it's just got the most stinking amazing groove. I want to know more about you because I know you had an interesting start up in terms of how people became familiar with you, but let's go back even further. Tell me what you were like as a kid.
Yeah, to be honest, I had a real difficult, real traumatic childhood. I kind of had to look after my brother who is autistic and he was like 9 years younger than I. So I was a kind of like a parent as a child, and I had a real traumatic upbringing. And throughout that, I kind of came to a crossroads where it was, was I kind of be going along this kind of statistical kind of, negative route of kind of being on drugs, in prison or worse. A lot of people around me were in those lanes, and music effectively saved my life. And ever since then, it really is anything could happen. I am hopefully the embodiment of that, and and since then I've just trying my best to take absolute just make the most I can of this opportunity that I've been given. I really do feel like, off the basis of that, I'm very lucky to be here, let alone be doing, talking to you right now.
So at what age was it that you even started thinking, well, I love music, or I love listening to music, or going to see music? What age were you around when you decided, I'm going to write my own stuff?
Yeah, it would have been around, I think, to be honest, I remember it would have probably been around 10 or 11, I think, to be honest, where I really began to get into it, and I began to kind of write raps about my experiences, and it really, was kind of like a coping mechanism for me. I would have loved to have just said, kind of like I kind of got into music because I enjoyed it. I kind of got into it really out of necessity, and it was my escape, and really meant a lot to me. And so I was a massive fan of music, and obviously as a kid, just a lot of rap, a lot of pop music, but really my start, my connection with music was through writing about my experiences and trying to make sense of them.
And how many people have you had? And of course, no one can ever anticipate that. How many people have come to you and said, you could have been writing that for me?
True, like a lot of people have, to be honest, and it really is an amazing thing because essentially from the hope has always been is that I really, probably as a kid and in my situation needed kind of like some positive role models, or needed to hear some stuff sometimes, because it felt like I was all alone, and that nobody was really there to tell me that things weren't okay, or that things were going to get better, or that there was any sort of any out. And so I'm really hoping to be able to kind of give that hope that I didn't have as a kid. And there's been so many people who have come through and said, this song is, or you don't know how much this means to me, or you really don't know how this has helped me, and really that is it's such an invaluable kind of crazy thing to hear for me, to be honest.
And before everything locked down and shut down, you had gotten the opportunity to play some festivals, some pretty large, in charge places. What was that experience like?
Oh man, it was so crazy. I got the opportunity to come and play South by in the States. My first ever shows in the States. That was crazy. I got the opportunity to play Glastonbury, and really, this whole thing has just kind of been like, every time something like this happens, the whole experience just feels like, kind of pinch yourself material. I kind of, like I say, everything feels like a bonus, and just having crazy moments where, going out to New York and meeting your heroes, like, Julian Casablancas and Danger Mouse, and just bumping in, really serendipitous, crazy things. And to be honest, I just kind of pinch myself and have to just double check and be like, you're talking to me, right? Me? Are you after me right now? Yeah, it feels surreal, very surreal.
I always want to know, like, when you do those festivals, those huge ones, at least my romantic idea of it is that you can make friends with the bands behind the stage, behind the scenes. Everybody's got to have a general area where they hang out, or if certain bands come to watch your set, that must feel crazy,
to be honest. And it's one of those things where everybody, whether you've been there 1,000 times and, you're rocking up and you're like, oh no, where the roadies at, where the pass is at, or whether it's your first time and you're absolutely, knee high in mud. I kind of feel like regardless of whether you're loving this or you're a veteran and you're here and you're just, you're engaged in it, I feel like you are in that experience with everybody, and for better or for worse, you are in that moment, and it's a moment that you share. It's a moment in kind of like in time, and you share it with people, and you really get to know people. And I feel like, even regardless of if you're playing it or not, festivals really are just an encapsulation, for me at least, of time, and where everybody lets their hair down and experiences something together. I feel like it feels like something that's close to being, I don't know, those Hollywood movies that you see where people get snowed in, like The Hateful Eight or something, and just get locked in somewhere in a cabin somewhere, and this, the road's covered up with snow and we're all stuck here. But it's amazing. It is a really amazing experience.
Well, we're going to hear Anything Could Happen, and then we'll come back and chat some more. This is 89.3 The Current, Dylan Cartlidge.
Climbed out, stepped up one day, climbed out, and Lord, I climbed out, let the morning sun, I climbed out, and yeah, I got brand new, got a change and it's all brand new. Oh yeah, I got new, on the sidewalk singing I knew. Yes, alright, both feet firm on the ground, alright. Oh yes, alright, got trouble and that's just fine. Along the water, I see my face, and who's looking back now? Don't get complacent, I hold my hands out and through it all. Sweet old hardship never felt so common. Oh, wake up today, anything could happen. Ah, yeah. And it might feel the same, anything could happen. Ah, yeah. I got a home, build up from the ground, got a home, I got a home, yeah, I got something to call my own. And before I gotta work, did the one thing I have learned. Oh yeah, I gotta work for the one thing I have learned. Along the water, I see my my face and who's looking back now? Don't get complacent. I hold my hands out and through it out. Sweet old hardship never fails to come and go. Wake up today, anything can happen. Come on, yeah, oh. And it might feel the same. Anything can happen. Never too late, yeah. Just step around the face. Anything can happen. Yeah. Along the water, I see my face and who's looking back now? Don't get complacent. I hold my hands out and through it all. Sweet old hardship never fails to come and go. Wake up today, anything could happen. And it might feel the same. Anything could happen. Yeah, come on. Chorus. Wake up today. Anything could happen. You might win. You get up and roll again. It's never too late. Anything could happen. You might win. Get up and start again. Slap round the face. Anything could happen. You might win. Never too late. Yeah, said anything could happen. Yeah. Woo! Thank you very much.
It's 89.3 The Current. I'm Mary Lucia. Special guest here is Dylan Cartlidge. Now that song, Anything Could Happen, which, okay, when you were recording, well, I should ask, where were you recording that particular song?
I was recording it in and amongst, underwear and, kind of bits of clothes and laundry, because it was in the laundry room in the back of the house. When things locked down, I was at home. I did have a studio, but I have really bad asthma, and so I kind of was locked down at home. I didn't leave the house for like 7 months, and I brought my studio into the laundry room. So whenever somebody, I'd be doing interviews like this, I was doing one interview with a radio station in Peru, and somebody had come in and needed to get some bread, and so everybody knows that vibe. And so I was this song was made and recorded at home in my laundry room, amongst all the kind of underwear you can imagine.
That is the most swinging underwear laundry room because of the results of that song. The groove in that pocket is so, like, it was one of those songs, Dylan, when I first heard it, it was like, and this doesn't happen a lot, but I first heard it maybe 35 seconds in, and I was like, I cannot wait to hear this again. And so I'm wondering, when you're writing a tune like that amongst a bunch of filthy drawers, do you have the sense that, oh my God, I am like, this is the summer jam?
You know what? What I find when I'm writing songs, or what I find when I write this song in particular, even when you're onto something that feels like it could be special or feels like you're really jamming it, it's crazy, because for me, I feel like you're in this mode, right, where you just sort of autonomously, well, for me, I kind of autonomously go into it, and you're following your nose. Us musicians, for the most part, are just, weirdo people who listen to the same 4 bars of music on repeat for 12 hours a day, and only come out at night, like vampiric nocturnal creatures. And I feel like when you're chasing a song, I see myself as like a groove doctor or something, and I'm trying to find the groove, and I'm following it with my nose, and you do get these moments where, like, things just seem to fall into place and things just align, and you're like, oh, that worked, and that worked, and that worked, and that worked. And then you're like, oh my God, am I onto something here? But what I find is that the second that you stop and say, whoa, hang on a second, we've got something good in the bag here, this is a banger, I kind of feel like you're always at the risk of letting the moment go. And it's the hardest thing, is to be able to just not get in the way of the song and be like, I've created something great here, and just run with it and get as many ideas out as you can, and then hope to God that you press record and that it's all there when you finish at the end of the day.
I know that is so true, and I know too from speaking to so many musicians that if you were to sit down and try to write "Anything Could Happen" Part Two, it's like that's not going to happen. It just sometimes it's just you caught lightning in a bottle. I'm not suggesting that you aren't going to have like plenty more radio hits, but I'm just saying, my God, I think if you sat down and thought, well, I've got to replicate whatever that was, it's overthinking and probably wouldn't work.
1,000,000%. I really do feel like, I feel like I'm a vessel for the music that I create. And the only time that I seem to be in a rut, or the only time when I seem to like can't, get songs, or they don't feel right to me, is when I've always made the mistake, or I've slipped into the bog, or I slipped into the bath of really believing that I'm the mastermind of music and my own destiny, my own music, and I've now got the secret formula, the Krabby Patty SpongeBob formula, and I know exactly what it is. And that's when I probably end up writing a load of throwaway songs for months and months until I realize just shut up and let it happen.
It's so true. And this song already has gotten some remixes. Am I right?
Yes, Superorganism, who are super a cool band from all over the world, really. I'm such a fan, and they came in and did a remix, which was crazy. Orano, the singer, loves on it, and they just really gave it that, that Hawaiian SpongeBobby sound that I love so much. That they've got that squelch, and it sounded fantastic.
So because again, here we are, we're still not completely out of the woods, although bands are announcing shows, fall. I mean, what is your plan right now? Do you want to just sort of take this cautiously? Or are you going to just like jump in with both feet?
I think, I really am, I've had to be cautious, and I think I'll be cautious, and, who knows what's going to happen. I don't want to, say too much, because I feel like whenever I make plans, or whenever anybody makes plans in this pandemic, COVID comes along and says, no, actually. And, my only plans at the moment is my album's going to be coming out in a little over a week. I'm going to be releasing my album, Hope Above Adversity, on the 9th of July. 9th of July. And then from then, the plan is hopefully to come and play some shows in the States, hopefully come to the station in Minnesota and come and play some jams.
Yes, please.
Then after coming to the States, come back home to the UK and play some shows here, COVID permitting, of course. Tentatively, that's the plan.
What was the rollout of the vaccine in the UK? Was it a lot, like, were you guys way behind other countries?
I think we actually were way in front. I think it was one of the only things so far, really, that everybody here felt that the country kind of jumped the gun on, but in a really good way. We really went stuck our necks out and said we're going to order this amount and to the point to where a lot of other countries here at least in Europe were unable to get dosages, or were having to be on a waiting list for months and months and months. And it was we really jumped on the vaccine thing early. So I think I kind of had both my jabs in the middle of last year, and luckily we were kind of jumped the gun on that.
Yeah, I remember right before Christmas there was a big scare in the UK, in London proper. Might have been a variant or something. We don't get too scientific, but I remember a couple of my friends that lived there that were planning to go home for the holidays said, no, there's no travel at all.
Yeah, it's been crazy, and I'm just hoping, I always hear the process of applying for an American visa coming from the UK can be a scary process, particularly now, like you say, with the variants and things. I'm just hoping that it can be done on Zoom, because I've seen way too many movies where you come in and I'm the sort of guy who would definitely make some kind of mistake or say the wrong thing. So I'm hoping not to be interrogated.
Well, it's not like you're, Keith Richards. And it's funny because, I don't know the restrictions or what it's going to be like international flights. And I'm sure they'll be a little more protective. But when I think about bands in the 60s and 70s, and I suppose even 80s and 90s, but it was like one pinch on your record for like having a doobie was like, no, you're not coming to the US, which is just hilarious to me, And it was like a reality. It was like, nope, you've got this on your record, so no.
This is the thing. I think, to be honest, even until this point, I feel like throughout the course of human history, the biggest unsung hero ever are the team of people that managed to get Keith Moon on an aeroplane to whatever flight he was on. I think that those people deserve, as many medals as the people in World Wars gone.
Oh, God bless Moni. Well, Dylan, the record's coming out in a week. This is so exciting. And the last song that you're going to do, is there anything that you would like anybody to know about Cheerleader?
Yeah, Cheerleader. I think I always, as much as I've kind of, maybe sounded a little bit preachy with some of my own philosophies and ideas around my own music, but, I also am just a fan of, escapism and a fan of just being able to something and not have to think too deep into it. And so with my music, it really is, I try and do it in equal measures, where if you need a little something under the surface, it's in there. But if you just want to listen and shake it like a Polaroid picture, you can also do that too. And I think Cheerleader really sums that up for me. I'm a massive film geek, and I always have been fascinated with the way that Hollywood movies depict the coming of age and depict high school. And I've always found it really, in the whole social element, and everybody knows it's a minefield in real life, but the way that Hollywood has depicted it is just so romanticized and amazing, and the jocks and the geeks, and it's just so cool, and I love that whole thing. And so, I really made the song. It's about self-esteem and like not having to kind of necessarily look a certain way to be able to, to shake it like a cheerleader and be your own cheerleader and build your own self-esteem. And so if anybody was going to take something from it, I'd hope that, just whoever they are, whatever they look like, they don't need to worry about what people think.
That is so great. Well, Dylan, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you are on this planet, that we are orbiting the same planet at the same time, and I am able to listen to this amazing music that you've been putting out and will put out. We're going to listen to Cheerleader, but again, we hope that we'll see you on the other side, of course.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I have one thing to show you as well while I'm here. If for anybody that doesn't believe that I'm the current's biggest fan. In the laundry room.
Yes.
For anybody that doesn't believe I'm the current's biggest fan, I already have this here, right? Let me check this out real quick. Take my headphones off.
Okay. Is it Mark Wheat's Severed Head? I see the the red oval. That is great.
That's my flight case for my bass guitar Maurice, and on that flight case is 88.3 the current. So that's what I'm saying right there.
That is so great. That is so cool. Well, Dylan, again, can't wait for the record to drop, and hopefully we'll see you very soon in the States.
I'd love to see you then. Take care until then, Mary. See, now I think today is gonna be one of those days where I don't miss my alarm and no drama is in the way. Cause I've been crossing fingers, toes alight, with my lips like frozen tight. I'd admittedly refusing to curse a day ahead of time. Previously I've been known, take a tone and forget that tomorrow's just another day and it ain't happened yet. So I'ma take my keys and find out that that second late round in my mouth make me not wanna leave the house. See this time I just get smile and bounce. Yeah, oh believe it, we don't need no reason. Oh wow, to shake it like a cheerleader. Oh believe it, we don't need no reason. When we're in a riding season, shake it like a cheerleader. Oh believe it, we don't need no reason. When we get down, shake it like a cheerleader. Oh believe it, we don't need no reason. When we're in a riding season, like a cheerleader. See a valuable lesson is something you want to invest in, with no earlier influence and no prior suggestions. See, now prose is my next question, yo. You believe in jesting? I can speak a giant who burns off a rope is pressing, yo. Close my eyes and there it is. So it's all the pyramid. Movies in these spheres in the jaw, still without the lid. The receipt is it from me. All of this is new, you see. Since that notice and bullshit along the road of what used to be. Yeah, believe it, we don't need no reason. Oh wow, to shake it like a cheerleader. Oh believe it, we don't need no reason. When we're in a riding season, like a cheerleader. Oh believe it, we don't need no reason. your mama gave you, girl. Hey, rock with me. Say what your mama gave you, girl. All those flags and signs that I saw never gave me scope on who to root for. Yeah, you got game inside of your drawer, and we're all keeping score. Oh yeah, oh believe me, we don't need no reason. When we get down, shake it like a cheerleader. Oh, believe me, we don't need no reason. When we're in or out of season, like a cheerleader. Oh, believe me, we don't need no reason. When we get down, shake it like a cheerleader. Thank you.